Have you ever heard of BYOB? When we think about BYOB, some people may have some things that come to mind, but we are talking about becoming your own bank, as you will see when we come back in just a few moments. Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And I am your host, Ayanna Smith. And I help people make and save money. And I not only do that, but we want to help people make and save money. But first of all, we have to have the mindset and the money to go together. And so I do this in a number of ways. Of course, I go back, and if we're looking at savings and all that good stuff, we want to make sure that we also have final expense policies and long-term policies that will last us and build a legacy. But we have to have the mindset so we can understand how those things work. So I do that. So basically, I say I term myself something different. I am an educator of insurance, an educator of the financial inner workings, so we can get some understanding. Because if we don't understand a thing, then we're doomed to make a mess of it. I remember hearing that from the late Miles Monroe, Pastor Miles Monroe. He said, if you don't know the use of a thing, abuse is inevitable. And so that's why sometimes we end up abusing things, because we don't recognize and get to the root of why we're doing a thing. So we're on Money Talks, and we're going to talk a little bit and continue our talks on BYOB. And of course, I said BYOB, everybody knows BYOB. Uh-oh, what is she going to talk about? But it's not what you think. It is BYOB, become your own bank. Who wants to become their own bank? Let me see some hearts, claps, shouts, jumps. Who wants to become their own bank instead of having to go to the bank every time we may need something? Now, there's nothing wrong with utilizing the bank, so please don't get me wrong. But if we could learn how to become our own bank, meaning we start becoming more self-sufficient, don't you think that would be better? Do you think that would be something that you want to know more about? So at the top of this, make sure that you connect with me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at www.youtube, of course, and that's / is going to be the Ayanna Smith. So make sure you subscribe, you can get and hit the like button, notification button, so that when we go live on all platforms, you will be notified to know when we are going live and when we are going to share some tidbits, and just sometimes when we're going to share some things that's going on, even in just even outside in life things, family times, ministry times, and all that. We just do a bunch of things there. But the main thing is talking about what we can do with our money and our mindset to make that better. So go over there and subscribe there. And also go to IG at Ask Ayanna _Financial Pro, and Facebook, Ask for Ayanna. And we would love to see you there and continue to follow, like, and share. So we're going to get into BYOB, become your own bank. Okay, I know I'm going to get some shouts and some reactions and some jumps and all that good stuff from becoming your own bank. But I've been, of course, I always go and research and read, and I'm a reader. We have that little phrase, sometimes readers are leaders. But if you want to read something and get understanding, make sure that you're reading something that is going to hook with the philosophies that you have, and also sometimes entertain some philosophies that you may not have been certain of, so that you can get a fuller understanding. Because sometimes we get bits and pieces of knowledge, but we don't get the whole thing. So we'll get a little bit of something to eat, but we don't get the whole buffet. We want to get the whole buffet, but not in overload, but in bite sizes, so that we can digest it appropriately. So we were talking about becoming your own bank and supercharging it through cash value life insurance. Now, sometimes, oh my goodness, I've already swerved off the road and thrown you to the curb when I say life insurance, because sometimes we think that that means it's a bad thing. And we also have the misconceptions. I would say some misconceptions can be, oh, if I get that life insurance, I can borrow from it. Well, you can't borrow from something that's not there, because the whole goal of life insurance, one of the main goals, of course, is to have something to leave to your family in the event of your passing away. And even if you're single, I can speak for the single people. Even if you're single, you still have bills, you still have things that you want to take care of. You may have nieces, nephews, or a charity that's near and dear to your heart, something to leave someone or an organization. You still want to be in that position. So, of course, it's that. And for those people who have that mindset, I'm not leaving anything for anybody, I say fix your mind, because there's more to life, like leaving your name as a legacy. You want people talking about you long after you're gone. You matter. And that could have been your purpose, to help someone else get a leg up. Think about the giving, and think about maybe the things that you didn't necessarily have. You can provide that for somebody else. Plant a seed that's going to grow. Of course, sometimes we don't see the seeds. We see the seeds, the seeds and the trees come up years and years later. But nevertheless, because we put that seed in the ground, somebody else was able to live long and live fruitful and do something that if you had not done it, then they would not be able to have done it. So looking at that, let's move on. All right. So now we know it's for a death benefit. But here's the thing. How you supercharge and become your own bank is by looking at, in most long-term policies, what we call permanent policies, and there are different styles of them. And I have talked about them, and I know that we have to go back over them because we cannot get everything all at one time. That's why we have to sit down for a complimentary consultation, so that we can delve into to make sure that you're getting the one size fits you and not everybody else, because we all, first of all, need to be educated about it, and then we can move on and make some conscious decisions on what's going to be the best strategy for us. So when you're looking at that permanent life insurance, whether it's your whole life, your universal life, your index universal life, all of those styles of policies build cash. They build money. It depends on what style it is, on how much it can build. That's why I said you have to talk to a professional so that they can talk through with you how that would look and could look for you when it's structured to fit your needs and your goals, or talk you through on how to get your needs and goals structured and met. So with that, knowing that it still takes time, because I just talked about seeds being planted. When you put your money in, you can't cash it out the next day, not for maximum growth without some penalties, because you took it out too soon. It's just like putting a cake in the oven. You mix the batter up and you put it in for 10 minutes and you think it's going to be good. That's not going to be probably the best cake. You ask yourself the question, is that cake going to be good enough for me to eat? Is it going to be matured enough? Okay, so we have to wait for things to mature. That's why it's long term. Not against anybody doing the shorter term investments, because you need to do that. You need to do those things. If you have that money to do that, do that. But what I am talking about in my lane is helping us to be educated on the effects and the versatility and the different ways that we can build our money by becoming our own bank through the vehicle of life insurance. So with that, you put your money in, you have your death benefit. For the most part, most permanent policies, all of permanent or term, which lasts for a short amount of time, will have a death benefit. But with the permanent policies that I'm speaking of, the permanent style of policies that I'm speaking of, you will have your death benefit, yes, but you will also have another pot that has your savings. So part of your insurance, part of that money that you put out each month to invest in yourself, you're investing in yourself. Life insurance is not an investment per se, but you're investing in yourself. You're putting the money away for your death benefit, for your savings, and then oftentimes you have a third component which may function with long-term care, which is if you get sick, you can get some care and that can be paid for, or money can go toward that. or your living benefits, which help with the heart attack, cancer, stroke, and all of that, and also your daily living, transferring, feeding, bathing, clothing yourself, and all of that. Those things can be put in there as well. And therefore, you have this supercharged piece of just investment on steroids. And so, how you do it, you make sure that you don't just pay the base, you see how much latitude you have between what it takes to keep that policy enforced and then how much more you can put in on top so it can become this savings for you. For example, can build it for retirement, can build it for college savings for your children. Do you want your children and grandchildren to have some college savings? So it is absolutely important and exuberantly, making up words, smart to put aside a policy for your children. Not just put our money in the bank, because I was reading one of my books, and it says, we are taught this. I was like, yes, dead ringer. We are taught to save our money 6 to 12 months in the bank and to have great credit. And those two things could not be truer things to help us. However, it makes the bank the money over time. And you think about it like this: when we have our credit good and we get a mortgage, that is making the bank money because we pay interest. If we don't pay for it cash, we pay for it with interest. And the interest does not go to us, the interest goes to the lender. So it makes them money. We want to get our mindsets flipped, that we put enough money away that when it's time, and we have to start early. That's why I said we can't wait. This is the thing. It's about that timing, because oftentimes we will wait until, I'll wait until I get 40. I'll wait till I get 50. I'll wait till I get 60. I'll wait till I get 70. And then we think that we'll be able to supercharge these types of policies, but they are really designed for when people are little, young, very young. And then by the time they are 18, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, they have amassed a bunch of money. Because here's the thing: a little money over a long time can accumulate faster because of time than a lot of money in a short time, because that little money over time was able to build and compound. We have a thing called compound interest, and that's a whole different little talk by itself, the rule 72. And it's not all about going through all the technical things. It's just bottom line: time is on our side when we start in time and give it enough time. We give something enough time to grow, we give enough time for that cake to bake, those ingredients to bake. They will no longer be in a liquid type state. It will turn out to be something spongy, sweet, and good that we can glaze and then have to exercise ourselves to death to get the pounds off. Yes, so we want to make sure, but we say, we had to exercise, but it was good going down. So we want to make sure that we have the same mindset. We put our money in, and immediately, sometimes I get people to say, is that the type of policy that you can borrow off of and everything? I said, well, yes, once it's mature, but the whole mindset is you want to make it where it is built up, where it's going to give you disbursements, not just you borrowing money. Disbursements are different from borrowing money, because borrowing, you think about, I have to pay this back, or it may subtract from my face amount. But disbursements, that's after accumulation. And once money has accumulated, it's there. That means your death benefit is there and the money on top is there. So that's accumulation. When something has accumulated, think of it like this: when you see the ground and it says that there's snow accumulation, that means that snow is sitting on top of the ground. It is not a part of the ground until, well, of course, temperature rises and it melts, but that snow is on top of. So think about it like that. The ground is the life insurance policy. The money you put in and it grows, it accumulates, and it's like that snow that's on top of the ground, which gives you excess, gives you something to glean from. I remember, quick story, when it would snow back in the day. Some people may know, if you're a country girl, the country girl, southern girl like me and my roots, Snow would accumulate. We had a bunch of snow to accumulate on the car, for example, and my grandmother would go out and shave some of that snow off the car and make snow cream. But she couldn't take anything away from something that was not there. So that is how we have to look at when we're talking about accumulating money. We cannot get something from something that is not there. So we can't go and one day we pay one premium and then we think we can just pull out $1 million the next day. It doesn't quite work like that. It's very similar to the ATM. Please don't expect if you only have, $10,000 in the bank and then you think you're going to pull out 20, might be a problem because somewhere in between there's a deficit because you haven't given the money enough time to grow or you didn't put enough money in to even withdraw. So we have to think about that. And so with the growth can take place. Just to give you some a few little technical things about the growth is going in the policies. It grows at a certain percent based on whatever that company is going to give you and provide, and on the money that you put in. So it can vary. And that's why I say you have to talk to a professional so that you can find out what's going to be the best type of strategy or style or policy for you. But nonetheless, it will make some money for you and it will keep compounding and it will keep doing what it needs to do on top of that accumulation of the base amount. So here we are, supercharging your money with cash savings. Sometimes people say, can I get a better return? You may, but the steady return is where we are. When we're looking at permanent policies, we're looking at the steady return, not necessarily the astronomical 30, 40, 50% return or whatever, but you're looking for steady return. So this is what I like to say. Just like you have a meal, sometimes my mom would have some meat. Sometimes she would have 2 or 3 meats if it was a big Sunday, 2 or 3 meats and 5 or 6 vegetables. Okay, but it was a balanced meal. And so something was some greens, some type of starch, and then some meat. And it was, and you had your plate. She directed me so where I knew I had to have, not all starches on the plate, not all meat, not all green, so to speak. But the main thing, mix it up. And this is how I'm saying I'm coming out of the permanent strategy of things on places to put your money. There are other fast moving and shaking, where we say we have NFTs and we have crypto and all of that. Those things are excellent. Go ahead and do what you need to do if that's a vein you want to work in. But here's what I say, where you get steady growth, steady gains, and show you how to become your own bank, where one day you won't look up and the money has done an astronomical amount in one particular strategy and then it's gone the next minute. These permanent strategies through the vehicle of life insurance will help you have like a steady eddy and will continue to help you to build, grow, and elevate throughout. So put that with your entire portfolio. Put that with your entire when you think about that balanced meal, put all of those things together with your taxable and your non-taxable things. Because here's another key in how you build your own bank. Monies that are built in life insurance, the accumulation is not taxed. It cannot be taxed because the money that you placed in that strategy was already taxed going in. The only way it can be taxed is if you quickly liquidate, take everything out, surrender the policy, take all the money out, then it can be subject and open to taxation. So you have to make sure that you speak to your tax advisor about that to see the ramifications, and your licensed professional, licensed insurance professional and broker to help you to figure that out as well, because you want to make sure that you have, first of all, protected on all sides. You've protected yourself, and you've protected your money, and you've protected your family. So you want to have those 3 things working to give you that long-term strategy. Now, it is so much that we could talk about with BYOB, Become Your Own Bank. So I want you to connect with me on all the social media outlets. As I said, BYOB stands for Become Your Own Bank. We're going to continue to talk about becoming your own bank because it is a necessary thing to go into and delve into, because it's about that mindset and it's about that growth that we really want to have. And you get that through what we say, get a life insurance policy. We get our growth through the life insurance policies. Okay, so as we close, as I said, you want to make sure that you get the right strategy. We have different strategies or different styles of permanent policies, whether it is a regular whole life, UL, sometimes a VUL, and then sometimes the IUL. It depends on what's going to work for you. You want to make sure too that you are looking at building the money and keeping it in long term. It is not a get rich quick strategy. So you want to be able to keep it in long term and let it build so it can supercharge, and you go to yourself to get money instead of going to the actual physical bank to get money. You call the people and say, hello, I have XYZ and I need to get money from my policy, from myself. Thank you so much. Write the check payable to me, because I have been paying into and receiving the accumulation over time. So now it's time for me to get this check to send my child to college, to buy me a retirement property, to invest it in some other great strategy, the stock market, what have you. It's all about becoming your own bank. And I will say this, let's connect. AskAyanna.com. Make sure that AskAyanna. We're going to AskAyanna.com and make sure that we are all connected and all together, and making sure that you see that askayanna.com, that we're right there to schedule a complimentary consultation and appointment so that we can talk to you. I'm also available and scheduled to speak at your events, whether it's a civic event, a church event, a fraternity or sorority event. I'm available to speak, whether it be in face-to-face, or let's see, hybrid, face-to-face, or on some type of streaming service. We're available to do that and come and speak to you, and just talk and get some things out in the open. And also, another thing, I'm available for if we do family gatherings. I've been able to have the opportunity to speak with some families, like a family reunion setting on Zoom, and just get the family thinking about leaving that legacy and building and growing and executing and repeating. So this is Ayanna Smith, Money Talks with Ayanna Smith, and I am your financial professional, your trusted financial professional, and I help people make and save money and get you straight for now, later, and after life. And look forward to connecting with all of you. And please like, share, and comment on this video. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.